Hey guys. Sorry about that. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Anyway, today is still Friday, November 5th. Just looked at my watch and it says it's still the 5th. So um, here's Chuck. And, well, take it over, Chuck.
Well, last night, I guess Kevin already made a video talking about what he experienced last night, and last night was kind of an interesting night for me as well. And I want to start out talking about a little bit about what we experienced here. And one of the things I'd like to mention was here a while back we started setting out an extra chair, and we felt that we had the young forest people coming in and hanging around us. And so we started putting a chair out and inviting them to come and sit with us. And it's happened 3 or 4 times now, but last night especially it happened, and I thought I'd talk about it just a little bit. Now, if you go look right here to my right, we've got a chair, and from my perspective, I was sitting exactly where I'm sitting now. And from my perspective, I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but when I look at this chair, and I can see this arm very, very clearly. I can see the legs on this side. I can see the back on this side. But then from here over to here is all moving and distorted. And when we see that, we know that we had a little cloak, for lack of a better term, a little one come and actually sit in the chair with us. Last night was especially cool because Kevin was sitting over here in his chair, and he's going to pan back on that. He was sitting there in his blue chair, and I was sitting in my chair, and what I could see was the back side of the chair was distorted. This side I could see very clearly, and from his perspective, he could see this side of the chair very clearly, and this side was distorted. And we were both looking at the same thing. And that told us that we had one of our little forest friends who actually came up and sat in the chair with us. And from the best we could determine, he was probably about 4 feet tall. I don't know how that translates to how old they are, but it was pretty darn cool. The other thing that happened, Kevin probably already talked about it, but at about 8:30 in the evening, we had some other campers come in, and they're down the way from us a little bit. But the road that comes in here comes off the hill over here to the side and goes past us. And of course, they came in with their truck and lights shining everywhere and flashlights shining everywhere. Well, we'd had the forest people came in around us, but when the other vehicle came in, of course, they bailed. They went back up on the hill, and they stayed there up until these people got settled down the way. And so they did come back eventually, but by that time it was starting to get late and it was cold, and we theorized that they were making us cold because it wasn't really that cold here last night, and we were all bundled up. We were bibbed up in our Carhartts and all this kind of stuff, but we were both just alternately freezing. And so we finally, about 9:30, we decided to go to bed. Well, I got set up in my bed there and in my van, and I no sooner got settled down than I got zapped. And I call it a half body zap. And a half body zap, when you're laying flat, I'm going to step back a little bit, but a half body zap is kind of like all the way down one side, and you feel it your whole side. And when you're laying flat, I normally lay on one side or the other. And if I was laying on my right side, and I felt my whole left side get half body zapped. And when that happened, I knew that they were there, and they literally in the van with me. And don't ask me how they do that. I mean, the windows are all closed, doors are all locked, van's made of steel. They managed to get in there somehow. And so I started talking to them, and immediately I got mind speak back. I asked who this was, and the name I was given was Ivana. And Ivana was obviously a female. I asked how old she was, and she didn't tell me. But I was getting these intermittent zaps, and so I asked her if she was a healer, and she came back, and it was kind of cool. She came back. She said, "Teacher of children," with the pause. Teacher of children. Well, what happened then on and off throughout the night is I'd go to sleep, then I'd wake up, and when I wake up, I'd get zapped. And I think what it was, I think they were doing some kind of a teaching the little ones how to do it, and I was their training aid or guinea pig or whatever. I had that happen before one time up at Hilltop with another teacher whose name was Ruth. And she didn't pronounce it Ruth like we pronounce it. She pronounced it like a dog barking, Ruth. And and at that particular time, I felt like it was a biology class and I was the frog. But this particular time, I was kind of the training aid. And this kind of went on during the night. And I'd wake up and then I'd go to sleep, and I wake up and I go to sleep. And when I was laying on my right side, I get these half body zaps on the left. I rolled over onto my left side and I was getting half body zaps on the right. And then about 1:20 in the morning, I woke up, and then after that, what they were doing is they were apparently practicing how to make people cold, because I was well bundled up in my van. My van has lots of bedding in it. I can sleep down to probably zero. I sleep very comfortably without doing anything down to about the mid 30s, and it was probably into the high 30s last night. But I was totally warm and comfortable. But I would be there, and I was wide awake, and I would be there, and all of a sudden I am just freezing bone cold, absolutely freezing, and that would last for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden it just shut off, and then within a couple minutes I'd be warm as toast again. And a little time would go by, and all of a sudden, bam! I'm just freezing cold again, and this went on off and on. But between the zaps and the being cold and everything, I probably got zapped 30 times last night in the van. From the time I went in there and went to bed until the time I got up this morning, I probably got zapped 30 times. And that cold heat thing, probably happened 8 or 10 times. And I think what was happening is, I think Ivana she was the teacher, and I think she was teaching the young ones on how to do this, and I just happened to be the training aid, which, I could be upset about that, but in actuality, I think it's pretty cool, because I've had it happen before. And we had it happen here at Crazy Town before in a little bit different way. But I think that was a kind of unique experience for me in a way. But it also got me to meet another one. And it means that they're reaching out to us, they are communicating with us. And I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. And with that, I'll give it back to Kevin.
All right. Well, that's, let me get this turned around here a little bit. All right. So that's Chuck's side of last night. And don't have much more to say on that. We'll, excuse me, we'll get some more videos shot a little later, probably tomorrow, maybe later this afternoon. But we'll get more made. I got a lot to make up for, so. Give you a little pan on the way out. Love you guys. Peace out.